To start off, I had no theater background whatsoever. I just know that I enjoy making people happy, and I love being I would say the center of attention, but in the front of all the attention where it's happening. I like to be in that circle. I don't like to be in the background.
Welcome to Butterfield Backstage Banter, the BSP podcast all about Butterfield.
All right. Hello and welcome to Butterfield Backstage Banter. I am your host, Jessica DeMent, and today I am joined by guest Jace Bridwell.
Thank you so much. Thank you all at home. Y'all hear that? Okay. Well, hey, Jessica, how are you today?
Hey,
Sorry. I like to switch it up. It's me as a person, I always got to do something a little extra.
Of course.
Lime green shoes,
Lime green shoes and your own audience applause track.
Absolutely.
Hello, welcome.
First, thank you for all that you do for Butterfield and allowing us to come on to this podcast and kind of really amp it for the audience and amp it for our guests. That's pretty neat. It was pretty much an idea that was given to you, or you brought the idea to life. I'm so sorry. And yes, you did. And you've kind of run away with it, and we've all been on board and absolutely love the podcast. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Yep. Well, our audience seems to love the podcast. I've actually been very surprised. A lot of our youth kids really love the podcast and have come up to me and told me that they actually watch our episodes. So shout out to our youth.
Yeah, absolutely. Youth is all about the podcast, and I think we're taking some of the older youth as well in this podcast.
We are getting them too.
And we're reaching out, and that's what we're really trying to do here. Is we want to get into more tune with our youth and our older youth.
Our older youth. The entire demographic.
The entire demographic is what we're reaching for. So I think that we're doing a good job doing that, and I hope that we continue this. It's a good job.
Well, thank you, Jason. Thank you for all that you do for Butterfield.
Well, thank you so much.
Speaking of what you do for Butterfield, you are directing the upcoming main stage show, Death by Golf.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, very excited to get that, by the way.
Yes, I imagine this is your first main stage show to direct, right?
It'll be my first main stage show, absolutely.
Bad and special events with the radio show. Mm-hmm. Are you excited to be transitioning to the main stage? Is there any difference in that for you?
Not really. It all kind of works the same. Of course, Death by Golf is a full script, and basically what I've done is the radio show, which I wrote all of my shows, and they're mostly all special events. But the transition to the main show is I have the knowledge to get it going. Death by Golf so far has kind of helped me edge out some things. I'm learning a little bit more that maybe I need to know with the full main stage show, because there's a little more pressure on that than just the special events, which there are very hard. I mean, you've got 1 or 2 days to make something happen. You have 6 days, and things have to go right for 6 days.
For 6 days, exactly.
6 days, and it's not just 6 days. Things have to go right for the entire rehearsal process, and you have to your cast and taking care of their scheduling and making sure that you have good aura throughout the process.
Yeah.
So
absolutely, lots of responsibility that goes directing.
Yeah, there's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
So
well, before we go any further on the show, why don't you go ahead and tell the audience a little bit about your theater background, what brought you to Butterfield, got you involved in theater in the first place?
Okay. Yeah, well, to start off, I had no theater background whatsoever. I just know that I enjoy making people happy, and I love being I would say the center of attention, but in the front of all the attention where it's happening. I like to be in that circle. I don't like to be in the background. Let's see. It all started my friend Alfred Wesser. At the time, I'd known him for a while, and I knew that he was kind of doing Butterfield, and I'd always wanted to come see a show. So I did. Came and saw 39 Steps, and it blew me away. I was very interested. I was intrigued, and I was telling my wife, I was like, "That looks so fun. I would love to do that. That'd be cool." She's like, "That's right up your alley. You should." And I got a call maybe a couple months later from Alfred asking if I would be interested in looking cool on stage and joining his ensemble. And I didn't have to do anything but look cool on stage. Yeah. And when Alfred tells you something like that, just know it's loaded full of, that's not really what he means. So I had said yeah, and whenever I got into the first rehearsals, there were some parts still open. So every time he asked, I was like, "Can I do it? Can I do it? Can I do it?" And it was Sweet Charity, so there was a lot going on there. So I jumped into that, and I accepted all my parts, the singing parts, the dancing parts. I was met with an amazing cast, an amazing first cast, amazing first director. And I think I learned everything I needed to know about stage right there. But that's also the moment I stepped out on that stage. I knew that's where I wanted to be. The second, there are no small parts. And even I still had some pretty good parts. I knew that that's what I wanted to do. And then I continued on doing the next 5 or 6 shows straight. And that's whenever they picked me up for directing the radio show. So basically, that's my intro to it, and everything that I tell people all the time. I feel Butterfield put me through theater school. I wouldn't say for free. It takes a lot of time and sweat, and definitely blood and injuries and bruises. Everyone can attest for that when it comes to me, of course. But really, everything I've learned has come from these walls here. And I think Butterfield every day is because, like I said, I went to college for free when it comes to theater. So especially where I'm headed with it now.
Yeah.
So
that's one of the great things about community theater is it really does provide that opportunity for people who never have done it or, don't really know anything for them to be able to step in and learn and educate themselves without having to necessarily go to formal training or have majored in it in high school or college, or I guess you don't major in high school, but
some people do,
Some people do. Yeah. Some people start out, early on, and other people, they don't come in until they're adults, and then they find out that it's, a great thing for them and they want to keep doing it.
No, absolutely. And that's exactly what it is. I mean, I've met so many people here, whether it's their first show or not, and it's once a couple weeks and they take off. Yeah. It's an amazing process to see. You see a lot of growth in theater. You meet a lot of good people in theater. There's a family. It's, whether it's your this one show and you're already family with somebody.
Yeah.
When it's over, it's like a bad breakup. It hurts. Yeah. It hurts. It's like you're saying goodbye to your friends and, become a family. You're together every day almost for 6 weeks or 6 to 8 weeks. And when it's over, it's over. Yeah. But that's what brings you back is that form of family and fun. And, there's good times, bad times, there's hard times. You got to work. That's just what it is. It's theater. Community theater.
Yeah, community theater, especially. Well, let's go ahead and circle back to the show, Death by Golf. Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about the show? Give us a synopsis. When is it going to be? What can they expect from the show?
Okay. Well, Death by Golf was brought up, and I honestly had no idea what it was. I just knew Gregg Kruetz was the writer of it. I like Gregg Kruetz, or come to like him. It is in somewhat its name. Death by Golf. The synopsis is basically an escaped convict comes to the house of the girlfriend of another, say, good-ish or bad person. I can't. It's so hard to get around these. Yeah. It's so hard to get around
without giving out spoilers. Yeah.
Well, we'll just say this: there's a grandpa, there's a wife, there's an escaped convict, there's a boyfriend, and then there's a lawyer. And it's a ultimate clash between all of that and kind of a mystery comedy. It's definitely got its adult moments, but nothing too crazy. It's definitely kid-friendly, I would say. There is golf, there's a gun, and there's a bird for most of the show. And so it's
very random.
It's just a one setting, straight through comedy. Oh my gosh, I wish I could compare it to something, but maybe like Three's Company, but with a twist.
Three's Company, but with a twist, and a murder.
And a murder. So that's honestly the only way I could describe it. So
okay,
it's just I like to leave it there because you
don't want to give out too much. That's fair.
No, this one you can't. If you do, it's over.
And what are the show dates for Death by Golf?
We opened February 22nd, and we follow through that weekend, and then the following weekend. So there's 6 show dates. I'm sorry, I don't have the dates up top of my head.
Oh, that's all right. That's good enough. We have the opening date.
February 22nd, and we're excited about that. It's crazy to think like if y'all saw this script and how much manuscript there is for every actor. Every single line they have is outrageous. I mean, goodness gracious, it's like 5 straight lines every time they talk.
Oh, wow.
All the way down. It's an impressive script. So it's a lot to keep up with. I'm glad
I would imagine so. You're glad you get to be the one telling everybody what to do.
I just decide what looks best for you while they are actively, as we see them, working on their lines.
You get to tell them when to be off book and not have to worry about being off book yourself.
As soon as I saw the script, I was like, I'll just direct it.
Yeah, fair. Tell me about a challenge that you faced with the show, either as a director or from a production standpoint.
Let's see. I would honestly say it was just the cast. There were so many good people had come in for auditions, and the way I chose my cast is, it was very challenging, and I really had to sit back and think on every single character, because there's so many arcs in the show, and I have to know that we can arc, and how that works.
Yeah.
And so I went with my cast on previous notability, that the lines were going to be a big thing. Character arcing was going to be a big thing, and that stage blocking. So those 3 things had to come into serious factors. So I had to know that wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
So that was probably the biggest challenge, is picking the cast and doing it the right way. And I feel like I couldn't have gotten any better. Yeah. So
awesome. Yeah. Well, I know I'm excited to see the cast that you've put together on stage. So I'm looking forward to that. What are some of the highlights of the process for you so far?
Highlights are just, I can literally, when I literally, before I start any directing or anything, first day, I just tell them, hey, I need y'all to understand. I need you to know that anything I say, take it with a grain of salt. It means I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not asking you to do something you don't want to be or feel uncomfortable with. But I want to feel comfortable that I can tell you to do something without hurting your feelings. You may make a stage move this way I don't like, and I will. There's times I will give and take. If you like it that much, I'll let you have it. The highlights are kind of finding that with my cast, is all the give and take we're able to have with each other. And, I could put my hand up and stop them any moment, and they're ready to listen, and vice versa. If they're going through, they can stop and feel comfortable enough with me. So I think it's all about the comfortableness between the director and the cast that is really the highlight. It's, it makes it so easy.
Yeah.
With your cast. So.
Absolutely. Do you have any funny stories or wins that you'd like to share with the audience?
Well, so without giving too much away, it's the banter between Julia and Adrian. It's hard to say, but the funny moments are watching Adrian drag Julia across the floor. At one point, you'll see her. Karina has to hold how do you say it? A weapon without getting it. Without bleeping out.
Oh, it's okay. We're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Holding a weapon for an entire 20-minute monologue almost by her arms trying to come back. Yeah. So she has to sit it down every once in a while. It's so funny just watching the whole process between these guys. That's the highlight. That's the funny stuff. It's them. They're cracking me up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, to wrap up, why don't you go ahead and tell our audience why they don't want to miss this show? Because of me. I'm just showing. Really, you don't want to miss this show. It's a gag, and I feel like Butterfield really nailed it on the head with this one. If you've ever been to one of our shows or ever laughed at one of our shows, trust me, it will not disappoint by any means, especially with the cast. They are going to bring it to life. There's going to be a vision. And the way that I come in as a director is I try to reach as far back into your mind as possible. So if you want to enjoy a great night, I always call it date night. I think it's a great time to grab your wife or your significant other, or could be a first date, and come enjoy the show. Bring your kid. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's family night, date night. You can do anything. Just don't miss the show. It's these another reason I wish that you didn't miss the show is because of how much work our entire crew does for this show. Even if you aren't interested, just remember, come see it for them and give them your laughs. And I give all my praise to my cast. That's it. Awesome. Well, folks, you heard it from Jace. You definitely don't want to miss this show. It'll be a great date night, first date, old date, family night, friends night. It's just a great night out on the town. So make sure to get your tickets. They are on sale on our website, or you can call our box office. All of the details are available in the text box below. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with your friends. Invite your friends to come see the show. You can tell Jace what you thought of his main stage debut after the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I will be there. We will be there with open arms.
Yes, absolutely. And with that said, we'll see you at the theater.
Yeah. Like,
Bye.
share, subscribe.
Thank you for joining us. For more information, please visit butterfieldstage.org.